Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. We were aware that Days of Our Lives will have some casting surprises for Victor Kiriakis Memorial, and this most recent appearance is a cunning joy. The storied Vivian is back, played by Louise Sorel. Please inspect any neighboring coffins to see if anyone is still alive. Though we last heard Viv's voice in a brief phone contact with Stefan in January of this year, Sorel, who created the iconic Schema character in 1992, was last seen as Viv in June of 2020. The actress hinted at her upcoming full on-screen comeback in an interview she gave in March, where she discussed the difficulties of returning to the set and getting used to the shooting schedule. She remarked at the time, "I was in shock," adding that they now filmed twice as fast as they ever did. Of course, Vivian was one of Victor's illustrious ex-wives, and devoted viewers are aware that she gave birth to Philip in order to join that exclusive club after stealing Victor and Kate's embryo and having it implanted. We certainly expect his surrogate mother will be involved in mischief, since Philip is also going back to Salem. Even though we like Linda Dano, Felicia Gallant forever, it's safe to say that having Sorel's Vivian back in the wake of Victor's passing just seems appropriate. Linda Dano filled in for Vivian between Sorel's most recent performances in 2021, even though some Salem residents might misinterpret it. On Friday, September 8, the tantalizingly perilous diver returns to Salem prepared to stir up trouble, according to People magazine. We know what to look forward to seeing on Days of Our Lives during the upcoming 2 weeks. When Xander and Sarah finally come face to face, he will learn the truth, or at least a portion of it. Meanwhile, the community continues to mourn Victor's passing. Melinda finds herself in a position of authority, and Dimitri's phony marriage may very well collapse around him. Continue reading to learn more about what will happen between August 21 and September 21. Salem's inhabitants' thoughts are still constantly drawn to Victor and his imposing presence. Nicole naturally finds herself thinking back on their terribly difficult time together. Sean can't help but blame himself, convinced that Beau's gunshot set in motion a sad chain of events that resulted in Victor's passing. Melinda comes to Sloane for help when she finds herself in a legal bind. When Xander runs into Sarah, the metaphorical cat is out of the bag, because being the smart person he is, he quickly recognizes she is pregnant. In the recap for today, Nicole implores Johnny not to give up on Channel, while Sloane and Eric receive heartbreaking news. Lai and Melinda also become heated. Sloane is about to confess when she abruptly loses her train of thought. Melinda, meanwhile, is aware of Sloane's cover-up. Will she, however, keep it to herself? Lai is prepared to intensify the romance. Will his date share his sentiments, though? The relationship between Johnny and Channel has been a catastrophe. Basically ever when they first met, they must now sit down and address their emotions. Yes, Dimitri and Gwen have been declared to be husband and wife. Yet, is it genuine? That will be the main item on the agenda for today. When Ava's dependability is questioned, her hazy background will undoubtedly be brought up. A very, very important decision is going to be made by Tripp and Wendy. Gwen interrupts what can only be called a private moment. When the legitimacy of his marriage to the Brit is questioned, Dimitri's entire plan could backfire on him. In the recap for today, Susan makes fun of Ava's secrets, Melinda begs Sloane to keep quiet about Nicole's child, and EJ swears vengeance. The dream EJ is about to have is one of the clearest signs there is. Marlena and Roman pause to consider their interactions with the late Victor personally. Melinda's fairly strange behavior has aroused eyebrows. Harris is there to console and soothe Ava when her anxieties cause her to shake. Join Soaps.com as we pay tribute to an actress who excelled at playing the naughty role. She recently died at the age of 70. Unexpected visitors find themselves paying 2 persons a visit. An ironic thing that happens is that Melinda decides to give Sloane relationship counsel. Sarah is about to acknowledge that she flat out lied to Xander. But to whom is she admitting this transgression? Skip the coffee. When Chloe discovers Philip alive and well on Monday, she is in for a huge shock. Though really, should this come as a surprise, given that almost everyone she knows has at some point been raised from the dead? Imagine how Brady will feel after learning that Philip is still alive if Chloe found it startling. After all, he was charged with the man's murder. The last thing Sonny needs when he returns to town to cope with the fallout from Victor's terrible death is definitely a run-in with Leo, but he will actually receive that. Stephen and Gabby come to the conclusion that they are the only ones who can uncover the truth, but may getting in over their heads result in serious trouble. Rafe makes a crucial choice. Although it pertains to his professional life, it is also likely to have an effect on his personal life. Nicole unluckily entered the hospital and overheard a personal and extremely painful talk between Eric and his dad in the Days of Our Lives recap for August 24, 2023. In addition, Melinda overheard Tripp discussing something he shouldn't have. Ava caught a glimpse of someone who wasn't there. Roman needed to be persuaded to help the woman he believed to be still carrying his newest grandchild, and EJ was tormented by the terrible nightmare of his mother's untimely death. Let's now delve a little more deeply into what transpired. Sloane believed she had dreamed about losing her child, but Eric had to inform her that it definitely did occur. Kayla interrupted the two as they were once more in mourning to give Sloane more news. The test results revealed that Sloane had an unidentified autoimmune illness, which may have contributed to what occurred. The patient had no issues with Eric learning this information. Did that imply Sloane wasn't able to have kids? No, she could control her disease with medication, but there was no known cure. Roman's effort to contact cut them off as Eric tried to find out why Sloane believed her actions were to blame for her miscarriage. Marlena, with whom he had spoken, thought they need to host a shower for Sloane and Eric in the bar. Roman initially resisted doing so because he doesn't like Sloane. When Nicole arrived unnoticed and heard that Sloane had lost the baby, she was stunned. Eric had left to contact him when he broke the tragic news. EJ had previously awoken from a nightmare in which he had relived his mother's final moments. He was in a state when Nicole, who was already up and dressed, returned. She nevertheless assisted him in getting ready for the day. He wasn't the only person having dreams about his mother, either. Ava spotted Susan, Stacy Haydock, at Bayview, but it was only another patient, Midge. Harris, Steve Burton, tried to convince Ava to return to reality because he had seen photos of Susan and knew Midge wasn't her. Eventually, he was successful. Ava's belief that things were finally turning around and that things would get better one day was dashed by the harsh reality of the situation. Dr. Marlena Evans was the ideal person to help, according to Harris. Ava advised to reconsider that. She explained several of her wrongdoings after having put the excellent doctor through a lot over the years. Harris didn't believe that Marlena, a professional, would be swayed by that. After all, she was treating the necktie killer who had killed her own grandchild. What else could it be if not professional detachment? Of course, Marlena immediately put everything aside and hurried to meet Harris after Ava acknowledged that as a valid argument and suggested that he call Marlena. Harris escorted Marlena somewhere quiet to talk because she was astonished to see Ava. After an evening and morning filled with sex with Lai, Melinda awakened with her plan to get the goods on him still in mind. Although she believed he was sleeping deeply, he wasn't and asked her what she was doing with his phone. She pretended to believe it belonged to her. Melinda overheard Tripp telling Kayla on the phone that Sloane, their patient, had lost the baby. Sloane was told not to hear it as she hurried out the door and toward her over Tripp's call. Melinda's knowledge of Sloane's affairs astounded Sloane, and she wasted no time in blaming Tripp for revealing it. Sloane wanted to disclose all, but she told her BFF not to tell Eric the truth about Nicole's baby. Tripp informed Lai that Melinda had left the apartment, but he was coy about whether or not their memorable evening represented a genuine new beginning, because of course he doesn't trust her. Not that Lai would reveal that to Tripp. Trip stumbled into EJ while out for a run. The two had a conversation after EJ's nightmare, which he attributes on Trip's mother. Trip expressed his confidence that his mother will one day be free and that EJ would simply have to put up with it. Trip took off, and EJ remarked, "We'll see about that." Days of Our Lives can be shown on the W Network or Global TV app in Canada and Peacock, plus in the United States during the week. Check out the most recent day's spoilers for more information about what will happen in Salem, and go here for a detailed look at the show's history. Our Facebook groups are the finest spot for serious soap fans to hang out. Do you participate? Check them out if you enjoy soap opera rumors, spoilers, and devoted followers like yourself. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.